What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about Lucid. I want to give you an overview of why it went down as much as it did today, go over some of the current data points and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid went down 5.48%. 35.01 million shares have been traded. 32 is the average. Based off of this though, you can kind of see just big money wasn't really getting into Lucid as much as it once was. So it is fair to assume based on the amount of volume, a lot of the volume being done today was algorithmic trading. So if you combine that with shorts, this is where you historically at least see a very significant pullback. So ultimately that was one factor why it went down as much as it did. In my opinion, the second factor is due to the 8K that came out yesterday. And so when it comes down to the 8K, you see a lot of people very much scarily pumping it based off of that, saying that it's epic. And so to give you a quick summary, I know I did do a video yesterday, which I probably came off as overly bearish, so my apologies on that. But ultimately, I was just trying to say that this 8K is good. At least it will help essentially for them to push out the gravity. But it is very, very similar to a payday loan. So it's good for the short term, but long term, this is where it's going to magnify and kind of get very out of control, because essentially based off of this formula and this formula alone, this is what is going to really screw Lucid investors. And maybe say screw Lucid investors is probably the wrong word, but ultimately a lot of people keep bringing this up. So I wanted to kind of just briefly share this with you. So a lot of people are saying that this is 278 million in dilution at a price of $3.59. And the fact is that Lucid ran up to close to this price yesterday literally was 100% a indication that people do not know what the hell this was all about, because technically it just shows right here initial conversion. And so technically based off of this formula, the more dilution, the lower the conversion price and the more shares that are involved. So Lucid is going to be profitable probably 2027. So from now until then, obviously they're going to need to dilute. And as I've said time and time again, and I've been on point ever since Lucid basically came out the gate in 2021, like they're going to need to dilute probably tail into Q3, if not, or sorry, tail into Q2 or either within Q3. And so technically the higher the outstanding share count right here, this is where the lower the actual conversion, and then just it gets so much more magnified. So even though yes, it does say 278 right here, it most likely will be probably about 5 times that. So I feel like that was one fact that the broader market started to really realize about these preferred shares, that is not all that great. Again, this is why 100% you guys need to do your own due diligence. Do not trust a lot of people on social media, because if you just search Lucid, you see a lot of people pumping Lucid like mindlessly, and a lot of them were saying that this 8K yesterday was the end all be all, that was going to be absolutely amazing. So make sure you guys do your own due diligence. Of course, I might not be right all the time, but I like to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly, because I feel like you do need to know the ugly in order for you to be a good investor. But beside the point, I've talked enough about that. Those are the 2 points that, in my opinion, caused Lucid to go down today. One thing that I was starting to research today, though, was Lucid's expansion. So I wanted to kind of see if they were still on track and everything. And based on the hiring under their website, it does look like they've really slowed down on the mid to high level positions. So again, that could mean something, could mean absolutely nothing, but based on their expansion that they did say in their Q4, especially throughout Europe and as well the UAE, you would assume that there'd be a lot more positions. So again, that might mean something, might mean that they're slowing on their expansion. So they did really say that they're going to be cutting on expenses, and one way to do that is obviously expansion, cutting on that. So who knows, we'll just have to wait and see, but I did find this very interesting. But going over some data points, today's shorts. So shorts did increase a small amount, so 833,000 shares, 27.57% of the free float is being shorted. That works out to be 242.55 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost per average is 31.61%, and utilization is at 100%. Looking at options, dollar value hasn't really been there today, so 893,000 in calls and 514 in puts. Sentiment wise though, somewhat evenly divided between bulls and bears, but 45% of all the options being done today were bearish. And looking at the call options that were purchased, you do see it kind of anticipated to be sub 250, so kind of surprising for that. And then looking at puts, you do see an anticipation for it to be above 250. So clearly is at a very strong pivot point, and the technicals do indicate that. So with it closing right here at $2.76, it is right on this pivot point. So going into tomorrow, you'll want to watch for this 277 to either hold, stay above that or below that. Vice versa, $2.69 will be that next strong support, and then vice versa, $2.85 will be that next strong resistance. Once again, dependent on what does happen tomorrow, whether it kind of stays above or below this pivot point. Tomorrow, it's going to be a very technical driven day. There's absolutely nothing really coming out in the broader market to disrupt anything. On Thursday and Friday, that's where GDP and PCE numbers come out, but tomorrow should be relatively quiet. So it'll all depend on technicals. And going into tomorrow though, you did see it kind of, well, especially based on that run that happened yesterday, it bounced off of that 50-day moving average, and so it did transition back into the lower percentile of the Bollinger Band. Today, you do see the start of a bearish deviation, so red line above the white, and as well you do see it at 32. So it's not considered oversold anymore, somewhat in neutral territory. And number of retail investors today were getting out, obviously collecting profits. Once again, maybe they just were, I don't know, like I said, collecting profits, or they were reading through that 8K and not really satisfied. I'm not really sure. But give yourself a shout out if you did buy today, if you sold, or what you did. In my case, I actually came this close to buying, even though I've done a video saying in the past I'm not really going to buy up until probably the mid to low twos. But I don't know, there was something about it today, about kind of the retracement today. I just had a weird feeling that I was going to, or I should have bought. I didn't end up doing that, so maybe do that tomorrow, but I was this close to buying at the $2.79 range. I just had a weird feeling that maybe something might be coming. Nothing to back that. I don't have a crystal ball or anything, so do not invest based on that or anything. So make sure you guys always do your own due diligence. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid though. What's your thoughts, for instance, on shorts continuously increasing? What is your thoughts on this 8K? Did you have time to actually read through it? Or do you think, again, I'm just overreacting? Because I did have some comments kind of saying that I was wrong. So I just wanted to obviously kind of speak on this formula today and just kind of break it down for you. So if you still do have questions, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I probably won't do a third video on it or kind of talking on it, but I can answer in the comments if you guys do have questions. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and make sure you guys take advantage of this promo as I always share with you. It is only up until March the 31st. Simply sign up for an account with me, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Take advantage of this while you can. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.